Have you ever been hurt by a friend and realized they had no idea? So many friendship blowups aren't about what happened, but what was expected. And sometimes these expectations go unspoken. They're not malicious. They're not intended to be malicious. They just go unspoken. And it's almost like they're, well, of course she knows.
Right.
Or of course she knows I expect this from her.
And adult friendships rarely set rules because why would we? We're adults.
Right.
You know, when we're kids, we don't have to set the rules. Our parents usually do. So as adults, if we're setting rules with friendships, the ones that go unspoken are the ones that sometimes get missed. So I assume, well, she should know me better than that. She should know this. She should know that. It mattered to me. Why does it matter to her? So these statements that are inside our head, we're making assumptions again, aren't something that you can keep inside. Because even long-term healthy friendships, this can be detrimental. Especially when I say to myself, well, gosh, she's known me for 30 some years. She should know me better than this. And I think that when you stand on that and you don't say, hey, Lisa, you should have known.
Right.
Because this is what I expect of you. And if she doesn't know, we're not mind readers.
No, absolutely we're not. And that's, yes, we have been friends for so long that we know a lot of these things. But if I'm not meeting an expectation that wasn't spoken between us, then that's a conversation that
we should have,
right? She needs to say, hey, I expected you to react or do this or something like that. And if I didn't, then that needs to be something that we talk about.
Right. And if you don't talk about it, that leads up to, as we know, resentments, scorekeeping, like we talked about before. Well, she didn't do this for me, so why should I do that for her? And she may not even know it. I may not even know it. And so it's the unspoken, like, that needs to be spoken.
That's right. That's right. And again, like Katie said, a lot of healthy relationships, long-term relationships go through this. So there's expectations versus agreements, right? Sometimes I expect things out of Katie that were never necessarily a verbal agreement type of thing. And those are different, right?
Yes.
If we are in agreement on something, we have talked about it. We've decided that this is what we expect from each other during this agreement, right? And then there's just expectations. Like Katie said, I've known her for 30 years. I already know she's going to say no when I ask her to go to the mall.
Hold up.
Now,
I went to the mall the other day.
She did. But here's an example. This is a real life example.
It is.
And it's very relevant to this video.
Recent.
Yeah, very recent. When we launched this channel, I have been talking about doing this for some time, a number of months, probably a year, right? Just putting the ideas out there, chatting with Katie, gauging her interest. And so she's like, yeah, let's do it. And so we got our first couple videos out. And then she texted me one evening. She's like, I don't know that I want to do it anymore. So I was hurt.
Yeah, she was mad. And I could tell via text that she was mad, but I was so set in the fact in my reasons for not wanting to do it that that's just the way it was going to be.
And I said, okay, although I did let her know that I was upset about it.
Disappointed.
Yes.
Yep.
Now, that was a text chain, and I did not share all of my feelings right then, right?
But I did know.
But she could tell by the tone.
Yep.
But long story short, like, my expectation of her was once you said you wanted to do it, that you were all in.
Right.
And
we'd already been in for a few episodes.
Yes. We were a couple episodes in.
Yep.
And what's funny here is that I had made it perfectly clear that once we started, like I said before we even started, this is a commitment. This isn't I will do a couple and then I'm done. I said, this is a long-term commitment and I need you to understand that, which you said you did.
I did. So this was an actually spoken agreement that I was going to break. It was a spoken agreement. It wasn't an assumption, which is a lot of times we do. So it's funny. So I knew she was upset with me. So we always text in the morning. I text her. I'm like, what up, this, that, and the other. I'm like, oh man, she's mad at me. She's mad at me. And as I thought about it and talked to my husband about it, it was basically me overthinking things, which I tend to do. So I changed my mind because I overthought it. Then I thought about it more, but it was unfair for me to do what I was going to do based on I don't even know what, because it wasn't the commitment. It was just based
Well, it was
on,
unfair of you to say you weren't going to do it because you agreed to do it.
Right.
Now, don't get me wrong. If she wanted to bail,
Yes.
then I was going to carry
Yep.
on.
Yep.
Still.
Yeah.
But it just a quick, very recent example. And here we are now. And
Enjoying. I'm enjoying it very much.
She is.
I am.
You almost looked fake when you said that. But
Oh, I did?
Yeah, almost.
I mean,
We really are.
I am.
She really is
I am.
enjoying it now.
Yeah.
And so that was a spoken agreement,
Yep.
which she almost broke and honestly didn't live up to the expectations
and literally,
right then
but
either.
literally she wrote in the text, I'm not surprised.
I did.
She did.
So
Because
my expectation was
she's not
potentially
going to do
she
it.
was going to bail. But here we are. No, we're really enjoying it.
Yeah,
now.
and really talking to my husband, him having the same thoughts as her, like I can overthink things and that's just what I do. And I'm like, no, I'm going to do this. I want to do it. I need to stop overthinking it. So that's what I did. And that was, like Lisa said, a spoken expectation that I was going to bail on. So it's the unspoken expectations that can really make hardships on friendships.
I think a lot of unspoken expectations live in our heads,
Yes.
right? So
And we think that it should live in her head too.
right, we're not mind readers,
No.
as previously stated.
Right.
Like we're not mind readers, but a lot of times in our own minds, we have certain expectations of people,
Yep.
and especially those closest to us in our lives. And if they don't meet those expectations, we can feel hurt by that. So how do we stop that from happening? Right? Communication.
Yep.
I think is the first
Which
one.
is always a key to most things, to all relationships,
Right.
communications. If you're not communicating, you don't know.
Right.
And sometimes it's hard to do. I have a friendship that I had expectations of. I felt like she was in a very bad way. I went above and beyond helping her family, and it was a situation that it was a big deal. And we were friends before this. She never really thanked me. I didn't want to thank you. Well, yes, I did. That's a lie. I did want to thank you. But
Or
she
at
didn't-
least an acknowledgement.
yeah, acknowledgement. And it was so odd to me. And honestly, to this day, even though it's been a few years, it still takes up space in my head. But because I'm not confrontational, I'm not going to ask her. Therefore, the friendship has suffered because of that.
Right.
You know, but it was a big deal. And there are some things that I tend to not be able to let go of. And I think that was one of them. But I'm working on it. I really am working on it.
Yeah.
Because sometimes you have these unrealistic expectations of people. And maybe that was one. I just thought it wasn't. But I'm not her.
Yeah. But again, that was an unspoken expectation.
Right.
And in this instance, Katie chose not to say anything about it. And so therefore it's living in her head.
Right.
Right.
Yep.
So
And it's built resentment that she
Yes.
doesn't even know about.
that's right. And that's what happens.
Yes,
That can happen
absolutely.
with the unspoken expectations, which, I mean, that is your choice
Yes.
to have never said anything to her.
Yes.
We would always generally say communication obviously is the best policy, but there are going to be times, especially in long-term friendships, long-term relationships as a whole, that sometimes you're just going to say it's not worth it. It's just not worth it. But most
And
often,
that's still living in my head. So it must be worth it.
yeah,
So, eventually I'll do something, but it hurt me. I mean, it honestly hurt me that there was no even acknowledgement that it even happened,
Right.
which was just odd, and sometimes when we have expectations of people and they don't meet them, it's a bummer. It's a real bummer.
yeah,
Coworkers, supervisors, you have these expectations, and then the less and less people meet your expectations, the less and less you expect of people.
Well,
which is not a good thing.
No, absolutely
That's not a good thing.
And I think too, if you have unspoken expectations and people are not meeting them, then you kind of start to think, well, they don't care.
Yes.
They don't care about me.
Yep.
Or
they're self-involved.
yes, or I'm not important to them. When in reality, a little communication can fix that. They probably do care about you.
Right.
And
probably has no idea.
exactly.
And that's on me.
Yes.
That's on me.
Yes.
I take responsibility for that.
And our expectations change as we go through life. Our expectations when you are at a certain age, say, 20s, 30s, those expectations are going to be different than when you're in your 40s and then again in your 50s. As you go through the life stages, those expectations are going to change. And I think that, trying to keep that friendship as open and honest, those are things that need to be talked about. And some people may have some unrealistic, right? Like,
oh yeah,
she might say, well, I expected you to do this. And I might be like, what?
Yeah. And that's a check for friendships that you're in now. Are they, or are you having unrealistic expectations? And if you are, you need to be insightful about that and say, okay, is this reality? Like, I understand she has to do this, that, and the other, but do I have to do, communicate? We've said it a million times, obviously. But you also have to check yourself. Like, I checked myself about my expectation that wasn't met, where it really falls onto me. And that's a decision I have to make. And with Lisa's expectation of me, and even if I just said no, she part of the rules would have to accept that if she wanted to continue the friendship.
Right.
You
right.
know?
Yeah. I think that, again, you start thinking, I'm not important to this person anymore, or she doesn't care about me anymore. Trying to think of like when, we had seasons in our life when you had the kids and I didn't, I was doing another thing. Like, did I have unreasonable expectations of you? I have expectations of her now. We have expectations of each other.
Yep.
And if they're unspoken, I would say, yeah, well, I expected you to do this.
Right.
But you know what? Maybe I wouldn't. I mean, depends on what it is.
And our friendship is pretty open. You got to look at those friendships that are a little more closed and you're trying to navigate them still.
Yes.
We've navigated through a lot of this. Expectations come with responsibility. Expectations come with, not being selfish. Like, I have this expectation of Lisa, which I don't think it's an agreement. I think it's unspoken, that when I talk about my kids, even if it's a million times, she'll always listen. She'll always give me feedback. And she doesn't mind. Like, how some people talk about their kids and you're like, oh my God, geez, we got to listen to this again. I expect her to listen. I think she enjoys listening.
I do.
I feel like she does. I feel like she'd see like, Kate, I don't want to listen to this anymore. Please, Lord Jesus. I mean, good Lord. But but yeah, there's always expectations that are good and expectations that are bad. Yeah. And I don't want to use the word bad, but just unrealistic, I guess, would be the best word.
Yeah. Speaking with somebody about maybe they didn't meet your expectations, right? Use clarity as opposed to being angry or upset, right? Like, seek that clarity when you talk with people and say, well, I really expected you to be there for me on this day.
Right.
And a lot of times setting those expectations, getting them out there in a verbal conversation as opposed to them just living in your head and the other person doesn't know it. Or it could be the other way around. The other person has certain expectations of you and they are now getting hurt because they don't feel like you're living up to their expectations. Then that would be on them. Maybe they need to also broach the subject and talk about it.
You always have to, relationship takes two people. You always have to realize what your part is. If friendships are falling apart all around you, you are the common denominator. So look at things and say, what am I doing that's making people be pushed away from me? And maybe it is unrealistic expectations.
Absolutely.
Like, even in marriages, people have unrealistic expectations. They don't get said. Next thing you know, they're divorced. Even though maybe a little bit of communication or whatever may be could fix things. But again, expectations, they're not free. friendships are not free of expectations. No relationship is free of expectations.
Absolutely not.
Life is not free of expectations.
No, absolutely
Expectations of yourself.
Yes. Yes. And again, if you do have expectations, replace it with clarity instead of confrontation.
Right.
Okay. Make room for change. Expectations will update as you go through life and as you go through your relationships. And that's how life works. And as long as both people in the relationship are aware of that and speaking freely and understanding that, and,
don't lower your standards.
Don't lower your standards. Mm-hmm. Talk about your expectations out loud. And we feel like doing this, I hope you make your relationships and your friendships stronger, help make them more long lasting.
Help make them easier.
Yes.
Easier is always better.
Yes. Not stressful, a lot less hurt. But every relationship goes through it. And it's how you handle it that, you'll see how that shakes out at the end of the day.
So we'll see what my decision is about my friend, my expectation. Yes. And it would never be, I've played it over in my mind. It would never be accusatory. And I bet she doesn't even know.
She doesn't. I can guarantee. Or who knows? We don't know because you haven't approached it.
Exactly. So I have no idea. Imagine that.
We'd love to hear your comments, your thoughts. Hopefully this helped. Are there any unspoken expectations in any of your friendships that you didn't realize that someone had of you? Or maybe you have unspoken expectations of someone else? We'd love it if you would drop it in the comments and share your stories.
Unspoken expectations spoken out loud can really strengthen a friendship.
Absolutely.
It's important to look into that.
Absolutely. So thank you for joining us. We will see you in the next one.
Absolutely. Bye.
Peace.